Hey everybody. So I took these drums out of storage recently and I've had them in the rehearsal studio for a little bit. I took them out to celebrate their birthday. These drums turned 30 years old this year in 2024. So yeah, that's right. 30 years ago in 1994, I bought this kit, Pearl Prestige Session Elite SLX series drum kit. It was my first ever pro level drum kit, and it was my main gigging kit for many years. Um, but I've been playing various drum kits since then, and but 30 years later, in 2024, this year, I went ahead and bought this kit. It's the modern successor to my Prestige Session Elite kit. This is the Pearl Session Studio Select drum kit. And so as 2024 comes to an end, before these old drums go back into storage and hibernation for another 30 years or something, I thought it would be fun to compare the old and the new. All right, so let's talk about these drums for a little bit. 1994 Prestige Session Elite SLX drums. I bought these, I think, on the tail end of the SLX series run. So these are 7-ply birch and mahogany shells. The inner plies, you'll see there are birch. And these drums are in Pacific Blue lacquer. That is a lacquer. It's not, there's a nice ding there, unfortunately. Uh, I got the blue, by the way, because I had seen way back in the day uh, the video for the song "What I Am" by Edie Brickell and New Bohemians, and I saw that dude's blue Yamaha kit. And at the time, I was playing a Yamaha kit myself back in the late '80s when that song came out, but not a low end sort of Yamaha kit for sure. And so I saw this guy's blue kit, and I just that stuck with me for years, years and years, literally, because that song came out in like '88 or something, '89 maybe, and I didn't get this kit until '94. But I remembered that blue, and I couldn't afford. Speaking of value, I couldn't afford, you know, even like a mid-level or high-end, let alone high-end Yamaha kit. But then I saw this Pacific Blue in the Pearl catalog, and I was like, yes, 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 yes. And I loved it. Fell in love with the kit. Played it a long time. This kit served me well, man, and I still do like the blue. It's like I said, it's got some scars and everything, but for 30 years old, I think it's in pretty decent shape. These drums have been around the block, so there are definitely some road rash and battle scars on these drums. I mean, I take really good pride in taking care of my gear. So I think for 30-year-old drums, these are actually in pretty amazing shape for what they've been through. But anyway, Pacific Blue lacquer. It's not a wrap. It's a lacquer, and so this came as a full-on kit, and I mean, it was a 5-piece, 2 rack toms, kick, floor tom, plus the snare drum. Back in those days, back in '94, and again, I think this was the kind of the tail end of that too. You could get a drum kit with a snare drum included, and not only that, but it also included hardware. So again, something you don't see really anymore, but this came with the hardware too. I don't have the hardware here, unfortunately. Sorry about that. But anyway, just for your specs, we've got the kick drum here, which is 16 by 22. We have a 10 by 12 and 11 by 13 rack tom. Yes, power toms. appropriate for the era. These are power toms, which you don't see anymore either. And then the floor tom, which is 16 by 16. And then, like I said, it also came with a snare drum, 6.5 by 14. This is the SX 614D. This is a chrome-plated steel shell snare drum. Oh, and by the way, I even still have. It even came with a muffle ring, which you can see is pretty well beat up and battered, but I still have it. 30 years later, look, it had the Pearl logo, and yeah, and like I said, so it also came with hardware. I unfortunately don't have the hardware, but it came with a boom cymbal stand, a straight stand, a pedal, and a snare stand, and of course a hi-hat stand. The hi-hat stand I was actually still playing, probably up until, I don't know, last 10 years or so, something like that, when it finally broke. But they were all 850 series Pearl hardware, heavy duty stuff. I still have the boom cymbal stand. I still have the straight stand, and I do not have the pedal anymore. I don't have the hi-hat stand anymore. I don't have the snare stand. I don't know what happened to the snare stand. I don't know why that somehow disappeared. But anyway, these were made in Taiwan, as you can see from the badge here. And you can see the old school sort of Pearl badges. The tom arms are TH95 tom arms. Check them out from back in the day. A lot of people weren't really liking these big, long, style arms that Pearl's been using for a long time, up until recently. But I never minded them on this particular drum kit. And these came with the Pearl integrated mounting system, the precursor to the ISS, and then the real precursor to the Optimount that Pearl came out with. And so yeah, you can see they just they attach via 3 hinges to the rim. Sorry I didn't dust or anything, but I must say I think these are in pretty good condition for their age. And then taking just a step back again, you can check out these high tension lugs all over the drums. Again, very typical for the period. And some nice touches here. So check this out. On the floor toms, they featured the LB30 hinging floor tom brackets. And so this, and it hinges, this opens up and you release your leg. I actually liked these. I don't know how long Pearl kept these around for, but I liked them. Not around anymore, I don't think. And they all came with memory locks all over the place, on the tom arms, down on the floor tom legs, which were nice touches for this level kit. This was like this. So the Session, even now, and then back in the day, the Session was probably the entry pro level kit from Pearl, and I've always loved them. I didn't play them much. Recently they've been in storage, not really in style anymore, obviously with the power tom configuration and the high tension lugs and stuff, but I always liked them a lot. Now here's one of the things I also like a lot too, and always did. The Pearl spurs. These are a retractable spike, the SP30 spurs, which I believe are still the same spurs that you'll find on Pearl kits these days. And you'll see that the spike here retracts, just flips up, and the spike either retracts or goes back in. I've always thought that was like one of the coolest features of this drum kit, to be honest with you, because it was so handy and so easy and just so convenient and cool. I've only found one other drum manufacturer with spurs of that kind, other than Pearl, and I loved to see that. And yeah, just very, very cool. The kit served me well, I got to tell you, and for a long time. Just to like give you some other details, the kit actually came with pinstripe heads. Obviously, these are not the original heads, but as I recall, they did come with Remo pinstripe, Remo USA pinstripe heads. And there it is. Okay, and now for the new. So like I said, these are Pearl Session Studio Select STS series drums. The shells are 6-ply birch and African mahogany. So again, you know, the session drums were the hybrid birch and mahogany shells, even back in '94 with my other kit. But you'll see these, I'm going to try to get it shot. The inner plies you'll see are the African mahogany, and the 4 outer plies are birch, the 2 inner are mahogany, and so you can just see that gorgeous color that was not present on the Prestige Session Elite drums. The inner plies were birch back in those days. But anyway, this is the finish is the gloss barnwood brown lacquer. So also a lacquer finish like my old drums. This was a shell pack only, no hardware. It did come as a 5-piece, 16 by 22 kick drum, 7 by 10 rack tom, 8 by 12 rack tom, 14 by 14 floor tom, and 16 by 16 floor tom. The stand did not come with it. I got that separately. So, and in fact, no hardware came with this kit. Back to reality. These days, you know, except for like really super entry level kits, right, where you get a package or whatever, you're not getting hardware. There's some exceptions, I suppose, special exceptions. I'm not getting any hardware with drum kits, or even a snare. No snare came with this one either. So you'll see though some other similarities. These are also, oh, it doesn't say it on the, actually it doesn't say it on the badge, but these are also made in Taiwan. Now, one of my nitpicky things, I've got to tell you right off the bat, is so these also came with Remo pinstripes, but you'll see they are the UT overseas, made in China Remo drum heads. I've noticed honestly that it's not really something I'm thrilled about with Pearl, but I noticed, you know, Pearl started kind of chintzing out on some of the series drum sets, and you know, again, I think this is considered probably the, you know, entry professional level kit for Pearl, but you know, to chintz out on the heads is not cool. But anyway, that's what they're doing, and they do have the Optimount suspension system. The last vestige, I think, of the this type of Pearl tom holder. They recently introduced L-arm brackets, finally. And of course, so these drums have RL10 lugs on the toms. No high tension lugs in the world anymore for these drums, and then RL20 lugs on the kick. Then going down to the floor toms, they have LB40 floor tom brackets. So no more hinge style, which again, I don't know. Maybe I don't know if the hinge didn't work out or whatever. Maybe it's old style, but I always liked the hinging floor tom brackets and wouldn't mind them on a modern drum kit for sure. But the coolest part, again, I get excited about stuff like this. Yep, SP30 retractable spur. Just super cool. And they're still around, SP30s. I should have mentioned too that the floor toms, if you were wondering about their lugs, LB40 floor tom lugs, and the Pearl suspension feet. They did come with memory locks on for the floor tom legs, which is super cool. Always appreciated. And yeah, here they are. I'm going to try to do a little bit of sound sampling to give you a flavor of what's going on. And there you go. That's it. So I hope you enjoyed taking this trip down memory lane and into the future with me. They are. I got to tell you, I think I do think the Session series is one of the best value drums on the market for what you get. It's kind of hard to beat for the price, honestly, and the quality is fantastic. The colors are crazy. I mean, I got to be honest, I still love this Pacific blue lacquer. I do love this the Barnwood gloss brown lacquer finish on these new Session Studio Select drums. So I will look forward to many years of playing these drums as well. So anyway, thanks for hanging in. If you've got any of these drums, if you have the old SLX kit or any of the iterations of the Session series that Pearl's making through the years, let me know. I'd love to hear from everybody on, your stories or comments, opinions on your kits. And if you got, one of the more modern Session kits, would love to hear how you're liking them. As I'm packing these drums up, I had to even mention, I still have the Humensenberg tuxedo bags that I bought with this kit. Still have the bags, 30 years old, and again in pretty good shape, except for the bass drum bag. This is all the padding completely disintegrated right now. But anyway, had to break back in and show you guys that I even still have the bags. And one more thing, these drums are heavy compared to the other ones. Those high tension lugs that go the length of the drums, man, that adds weight to these drums. But anyway, there you go. See you.